The big week 1 when he had 166 total yards. Week 2, though, against the Colts, came back down to earth a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did. 11 carries for 20 yards. Remember, out of 166 total yards the week before, I believe he had 75 of them through the air, which is unusual for him in and of itself. But in this game, totally bottled up by the Colts defense.
The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. Linval Joseph with a great push up front. He picks up the sack and a loss of 8. And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on 3rd and long. They'll fake it. Now Smith. And now the ball's loose. Smith loses it. And the Vikings pick up the football. And this drive will start on the edge of the red zone at the 20-yard line.
Well, that's a down and distance coaches always talking about trying to avoid, isn't it? I mean, that's 3rd and long. And you just know they're pinning their ears back and coming after him, sometimes even with extra pressure.
And he knew that. I mean, he knew they were coming. He just fumbled it.
Yeah, he knew it. The offensive line knew it. Everyone did, yet the pressure was still there, and he ended up coughing it up.
Minnesota coming back out here on offense, Charles. I want to ask you more about that Week 2 tie, though, that you called against them in Green Bay. What do you take away from that game long term?
Frustration from both sides because it was a tie. Both had their opportunities. But we're talking about Week 2, and we're just going to kind of overlook it, I think, at this time. It'll be interesting when we get around Week 13, Week 14, as the playoff, picture comes into full focus, where this tie will rank and what implications it might actually have on both of these teams trying to get into the playoffs.
After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. They'll run it now out of the gun. They get 6 here after the incompletion, and it'll leave them with a 3rd and 4.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Well, they were handed great starting field position on this drive, but now they face a 3rd and 4. Working out of the gun, Cousins. And it falls incomplete after almost being intercepted. A pick there would have been great. The good news for the defense now, it's 4th down. So out comes the field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. And Bailey able to knock it through. And the Vikings have a 3-0 lead. So they recovered the fumble, but ultimately could not take advantage of the short field.
Definitely a lost opportunity right there. I mean, they were in prime position to put 6 on the board. Ended up settling for 3.
And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. The Redskins offense now, they head back onto the field. And last time they coughed it up, led to a field goal. They're fortunate that it only led to a field goal, but still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though, when they only gave up the field goal? And they were able to trot back out on the field and start this drive. A little more pep in their step because they didn't cost their team a touchdown. But they know they've got to do it a lot better than they did on the last possession.
The coach will just be relieved, though, if they recoup with a score here, right?
I think the coach will be ecstatic to see them pick themselves back up and now take it downfield and punch in the end zone without turning it over.
Off of play action, here's Smith. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. Anthony Barr Leading the surge there, he drops him for a loss of 6. And on third down, a nickel formation here defensively. Smith now to throw. And he's going to go down again. Anthony Barr in there to pick up his second sack now of the afternoon.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
So on fourth down, the Redskins will call on Tressway to punt it away. Marcus Sherrill's back deep for Minnesota. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. Here's Sherrill's. A good return there. Call it 13 yards. And the Vikings will take over here, 1st and 10. And now out comes Minnesota. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point?
The kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him at contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about that.
Toe bashed it.
Super toe.
Cousins now to throw on 1st down. Looking for Diggs, and it's intercepted. Picked up by the all-pro corner, Josh Norman. And the possession is theirs at their own 43-yard line. Well, with that incompletion, we've got to talk about the ties that we've seen in weeks 1 and 2. Everyone was talking about the Steelers-Browns week 1, Charles, but week 2 we saw another. The game that you had, Vikings and Packers.
Yeah, and do you know something? They tied at 29. You know, it's the first time teams have tied with the score 29-29 in NFL history, so another little oddity that you throw in there. But I think the common characteristic between the Vikings, Packers, and the Steelers-Browns from week 1, kicking. The kicking game got both games and really affected in a big way. The Browns could have won, had a field goal blocked. The Vikings could have won. Their field goal kicker missed 3. And Mason Crosby, the Packers, made 1. But the Vikings had called timeout. He had to do it again, and he missed. So there you go. 2 ties in the first 2 weeks.
First time that's happened since 1971. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. Now it's Smith. Josh Doxson's got it complete. Touchdown, Washington. Josh Doxson, 47 yards. And the Redskins are able to strike for 6.
As a fan, is there anything prettier than a well-executed post route?
No, it's a thing of beauty, especially when it's done like that for a touchdown.
The throw, the catch, and how about